All right, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Planet Gen X. And I am your host, Sean, and that over there is Brian.
What's up, everybody?
Yes, how are you today, my friend?
I am pretty well. I can't complain.
Yes?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, we did talk a little bit about the HBO. Yeah, I think HBO and cycling their movies recently.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time is about to be cycled out, and that is the remake of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, the Rick Moranis one.
Mhm.
I've wanted to watch that, but my wife can't stand musicals or any kind of singing and stuff, so usually I have to pick my battles, or I'll have to just watch it alone. I love that movie.
I do too. I'm not big on musicals either, but it's more like Popeye, right?
No,
It's
dude,
not
yes.
quite a musical.
Right. I love
It's
Popeye.
fully a musical, but
Yeah, there's just,
it's a horror story, right?
yeah, it's magical. Well, it just came to, I guess we were just at that age, that perfect age too, where it's like, wow, this is a really cool movie, and who cares that they sing in it? And so what? The actual songs are pretty catchy in there.
Well,
I also loved Rick Moranis. I mean, we were fresh out of Spaceballs and shit, so I'm a big fan of Rick Moranis, and I loved Steve Martin as well. So his little bit as the dentist was great, just great.
Bill Murray was phenomenal.
Yes.
It had a great cast of people.
It really did. Yeah, I've never even seen the original.
One of the things that really struck me going back and rewatching it, the freaking practical effects on Audrey were just amazing.
Yeah, they really were.
You do catch like a frame of two of where it's like actual little claymation, but they did a variety of like effects for it.
Yeah, and it's back then that big old plant, that was something to pull off that giant animated plant. I forget who was his voice.
Stubbs, Levi Stubbs.
Yeah, it was like he was in
four something seasons, maybe
4 seasons.
I don't think it was the Tops.
The Four Horsemen.
Yeah, something like that.
They were in
But yeah, he was a great voice.
Yeah,
right.
Feed me, Seymour. Yeah, I miss it. I really. So they're about to take it out, huh?
Cycle it out. Yep.
And did you go and check and see if did you see? I should have gone and looked for you to see if Westworld was still on there.
I did not get around to it, to be quite honest, because I was kind of in the same boat as you. Like, I probably got more out of the seasons other than one that you did, rather. But it was always diminishing returns in there at the end. It was just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, because my wife sat through them, and I would come in from time to time and catch parts of episodes, and it was just like, yeah, they're just milking it for whatever they can. That first season was great, and maybe having Sir Anthony Hopkins in it helped. I don't know, but it was a good story that had a finish as far as I'm concerned, and they could have left it there.
Right.
But they chose not to. It was popular, and not my bag, baby.
Yeah. I don't know, man. One of my favorite series, I actually had mixed feelings about, Altered Carbon. Do you remember that one?
Love Altered Carbon. Are you kidding me?
Yes. It was so awesome, but I'm
God.
not a huge fan of Mackie as Takeshi.
You talking about the second
He didn't
one?
necessarily, yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely not. Look, the first one, first of all, the second one, we're lucky we even got a second one, because the first one was all that was ever made, like the book.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, the second one doesn't hit those, because dude, when I saw Altered Carbon for the first time, I thought I literally had a religious experience, man.
Right, yeah.
I did. This is the single greatest fucking television show I've ever seen in my entire life. This is what I have always wanted to see in a video game. That's why I love Cyberpunk. Just what they were doing is on another level. They brought the quality of movie style cinematics to television and told a badass cyberpunk story.
And that was on Sci-Fi, right?
That was on Netflix.
I thought it. No, okay, yeah, now I remember.
Yeah, that's a Netflix
I'm sorry, I'm
show.
thinking of something else.
Because it was right at the time. It was on Netflix, and Black Mirror was like 2 seasons in or something. And I was like, I couldn't get enough of dude. You could so Black Mirror and remind me to go back to Black Mirror. Altered Carbon 1 was just phenomenal, and like I said, there was no chance we were getting a second season, and we did. And it was not Altered Carbon 1, but it was still fucking damn good, I thought. I mean, it still had a story to tell. So I didn't hate it. A lot of people were like, it's not so good. I didn't hate it. I just adapted with it.
To me, it had a little bit of a small world feel to it, right?
Yeah.
I kind of felt like I was on that ride. Right. As opposed to like experiencing the real world of Altered Carbon.
Oh, man. I mean, I can't even describe it. I guess you feel it. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, it was like a religious experience. I couldn't shut up about it to my wife while we were watching. I'm like, oh my God, this is so awesome.
I still go back and watch it, and it's one of the few shows I can go back and watch, and I don't want to I will skip a meal. I don't want to get up and do anything. I just want to watch it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm the same exact way. And we're going back to Black Mirror now. I was the same way with Black Mirror. I thought, oh my God, somebody has this Charles Brooker guy is brilliant. This guy is absolutely fucking brilliant. Having said that, this last season, they just had a season recently come out, and I had watched them, and
I haven't seen it.
There was I think there was a good episode, maybe 2. Just probably good TV, but not good Black Mirror.
Yeah.
It just
sometimes those 1 or 2 good episodes are, everything, right?
Yeah, yeah. And of course, there's so few of them too, dude. It's like, you got that British 3 or 4 episode thing going on. And I mean, they're known for doing 6 episodes in Britain. Usually, that's about the standard for like a half-hour show, like a comedy show or something like that. Some stuff will get longer, but yeah, I think that might have suffered a bit on the shortness. I didn't think there wasn't enough tech and not enough future thought. Like Black Mirror's, and it's not all in the future, but most of it is.
Right.
Or at least it's not in the distant future. It could be fairly close to ours. But I don't know. They were all pretty good and I just didn't feel it with this last one. It didn't feel very Black Mirror. One episode did. I can't even remember. And I'm not sure I'll go and watch it again. Or I'll watch all the other ones again. I don't know if I'll watch that season. I hope
I did want to...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I hope they haven't lost their touch. That's all I was going to say.
Gotcha. We have had this discussion about you and animated stuff, but there is a OVA animated thing for Altered Carbon that I think you should watch. I think you might enjoy.
And I would actually give it a pass. I am aware of it. I've been aware of it for years, a couple of years now at least.
I thought it was phenomenal.
I just haven't. Yeah, that's one of those. Again, that falls under those things with the Little Shop of Horrors. I got to pick my battle with my wife because she's not going to watch it with me. So I'm either gonna make her sit through it or I'm gonna see it on my own. And so it's very rare I watch television on my own anymore. It's been, except at night, like late at night. But I just put whatever on. Like I go to BritBox and throw on some Yes Minister or whatever, or Red Dwarf or. It doesn't matter. They got a shitload of great British comedies on there, and I'll just fall asleep to that. So, I mean, I could technically watch it then. So I'll try. I'll think about it. I'll try and put it in the back of my mind to maybe do that. I do need to watch it for sure. Because it's the same with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk has one too.
Yeah.
You know?
Edge runners.
Yeah, so I really need to see that too, because there's actually stuff. There was like Edge Runners DLC or something in the game.
There's a couple of things from the show in the game.
Yeah. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we've taken a massive tangent. I know you've got some other stuff you want to talk about
Oh
today,
well, yeah.
right?
I mean, that stuff could either happen or not happen. I was enjoying the conversation there. That was good because you brought up something that I've never spoke about, and Altered Carbon needed to be spoke about for real.
Good, yeah.
And Black Mirror.
I agree. Yeah.
Uh,
But I think Ahsoka should be mentioned as well, right?
yes, they finally dropped I say finally. They've been dropping. It seemed like they've been dropping Ahsoka trailers like crazy, man. But this is the final trailer, and you
Right.
can tell it's got a lot more content in it. It's got a lot of the same we've seen, but then they just kind of extended some of the scenes a little bit more and added a few. And it looks, I don't know. We were talking earlier. Maybe Anakin's gonna be in this one too. Just
I'm
as a
thinking
voice or Force Ghost or something.
I'm thinking Force Ghost, right?
Yeah, could be, or it just could be for what am I trying to say? Shots from the past. There's a word for it.
Flashback.
Flashbacks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, he could be just there for flashbacks, for all we know.
Yeah.
Like she flashes back to training, stuff like that.
I can see that.
Yeah, pre-episode 3 days.
Yeah.
Or pre-Vader days, anyway. It looks really interesting. I mean, I can't. The problem I have is from what I can glean from this like I've brought this guy up before, and I haven't watched him in a while. That Mike Zero guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
This dude, I swear, he puts out video after video after video, and watching him is just mind numbing. I mean, it's like, get to the point already, dude. You have literally said the same thing 20 times, 20 different ways, and and eventually, I think you do get to the meat of the matter of what you're there to watch. But bloody hell. And he's got a hard on for Kathleen Kennedy. And I mean,
Right.
there's probably a lot of truth to it. I think Favreau has definitely alluded to something. But it's kind of like what is blamed for the book of Boba Fett and season 3 of Mandalorian.
Yep.
That they got Kathleen Kennedy, and she wouldn't let George Lucas on set, and didn't want his influence at all on the stuff. Not even a passing. Oh, I would do that with this. She wasn't having that. Just nothing. So I hope that Ahsoka doesn't suffer. We don't even know. We have nothing to compare it to. We had like the Mandalorian. We had previous seasons to compare it to go. This season's great. Second season's great. Book of Boba Fett had a couple of great episodes. And then season 3, you're like, they fucked it. Like Grogu should have left with Luke. Is basically what should have happened, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. And Mandalorian season 3 should have just been something else entirely. And maybe we come back to Grogu because he's got a movie. They're going to get a movie that does some Mandalorian stuff. So maybe we get back to Grogu. That's fine. But I think they had it happily written out of there, and I think she pulled the trump card on him.
I don't know. I think there were some great things that could have happened in the 3rd season. I love the Ice Pirates feel of the remaining Mandalorians.
Yeah.
And some other stuff like that. I think really and truthfully the main issue that we saw in season 3 is we should have seen what you and I are used to. Maybe something between that and what's current. More episodes, more time spent in these areas. I feel like we got a lot of time spent on Mandalore, but it could have been more, right? It could have been even more.
Oh yeah, like they could have stretched it out. Like,
yeah,
didn't what's the other show that was just way good? Andor.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Andor have like 2 episodes more? Wasn't it 10 episodes? Andor. I think it was.
I can't recall
I think it was a little longer than
more.
Mandalorian, and that's what they should have done with Mandalorian season 3 for sure. And then they could have done exactly what you said.
Right.
Going down to find the watering hole down there, that could have taken a whole lot longer.
Right.
for sure.
And I also just kind of feel like Bo-Katan didn't hit the mark in this season, right?
No.
Um, and I think everybody agreed on that. And I think if that could have been addressed, it would have been a much better season.
Yeah, it was soft. It could have been so much more. I think if Favreau was left to his own devices, it would have been fine.
Right?
You
Yeah.
get too many. You just get too much interference, especially with something that's got worth a lot of money, and they're making a lot of money on it, and they want to keep generating all the baby Grogu money. I mean, that's ultimately what it was, dude. It was just to exploit baby Grogu. That poor little fucking whatever he is. Do we know what they are?
Figment of your imagination.
We still don't know what they are.
I think it may have been mentioned in like one of the books, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's been mentioned anywhere. And if it
probably-
was in books, not
It's
much.
legendized now. I
Yeah.
love how they're taking those legend stuffs and making it canon again. That's why Favreau and Filoni have been great about that. So that's
Yeah.
really cool. Which is what looks great about Ahsoka, bringing Thrawn into the mix, man. He finally gets to see your dude up front instead of the back of his head, right? We've been
Right.
seeing that since last trailer, but it's nice, you know, to see, what was Mickelson, right? What's his first name? Mads, right?
No,
No,
it's not Mads, and it's
that's
not
the other guy,
Is
yeah.
it Mills?
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 Yeah.
It may be Mills, but it may be somebody else. There's so many of them there
Telling you,
that
man.
are.
Dude, there's very
know,
little Americans. When you
yes.
start looking at these shows we watch anymore, dude, it's very little Americans anymore. They're from
Yeah.
all over the place. If it's an American, it's going to be a very exotic American, and we'll figure out what that means.
You know, that's an interesting concept too, because like even comedy, like think about American comedy right now. I'm not feeling it. Is there anybody blowing you up? I mean, there's a couple of comedians I
Well,
would like
everybody's
to see,
scared.
but
Everybody's scared,
yeah,
except there's just a handful. Like Roseanne's back out in the spotlight again, but everybody looks at Roseanne like she's freaking nuts. So I mean, she'll sell her shows, sure, because the people that are on the right are going to agree with a lot of what she has to say. So she'll sell those out, but. Yeah, it's few and far between, and yeah, most everybody's scared. Like, you got guys like Chappelle that'll get on, Saturday Night Live and not be scared to say it like it is, or be around about it and tell a joke anyway. I mean, like, he'll say it.
yeah.
It doesn't happen.
I don't know,
much.
man. I always feel like a big issue is in comedy. It's a lot harder to separate the art from the artist, right? You can do that with like, excuse me, painters, photographers, directors, producers, all that stuff. It's a lot
Yeah.
easier to pull the art
Oh, yeah.
away from.
Yeah, my comedy is me, for example, me. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are just crazy in general, in my opinion. We're all influenced by this crazy stuff going around us, and that's what makes comedy so difficult. Because like I feel like you mentioned Dave Chappelle. I've got one thing that draws me in two directions on him, and it was when he was talking about Key and Peele. He's like, I hope they, do well in my old time slot or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
Something
yeah. I
along
remember
those
that.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, he had a point, that once he was gone, guess what? There wasn't a whole lot of black representation in that
Right.
slot on that channel.
Yeah.
So what they do?
Token.
Yep. Well, two of them. And
Yeah,
then what they
two
do after
tokens, yeah.
that? They got two youngers tokens,
yeah?
right?
Wow.
They had another show right after that. And so, yeah, it does kind of expose a little bit of like, is it representation or is it market, right?
Or exploitation, really.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, could you really say that Jordan Peele was exploited?
No, not at all.
No.
Damn, we were we got off because we were talking about
Way
Ahsoka,
off.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter, but that's fine. I did finally get a chance to check out that second episode of that Justified, the new Justified. miniseries,
Yeah.
and I can give you no more or less information about how. I just don't feel it, man. I'm just not feeling
Right.
it. And I did read a little something earlier before we started recording about how this show came about. Well, about where basically the article was like, why is it in Detroit?
Yeah.
More or less. And so it turns out that the character of Raylan is not really that big of a character, and he only appears in like 3 books, and they're not. And the main book that justified the old show was on a short story called "Down in a what is it? Fire in the Hole," and that's the bulk of Raylan really in that book, except for the very last thing before Elmore Leonard died. He wrote a book base, but that was after Justified TV show happened, so he already knew the meat of Raylan. So
Had a lot of material to
so
fluff it out.
this story that we're watching now has really nothing to do with Raylan at all. At all. It's Elmore Leonard has roots in Detroit. That's mainly where that's where he's known from, is like the Detroit Dickens is what they referred to him as. And he had like 5 books, and this was one of them. That's where they got the name from. And pretty much the premise of everything, and that the protagonist, his characters, the antagonist, is where his character comes from. But Raylan is they just inserted him in there. Let's just take an Elmore Leonard story. We're going to insert him. And I think maybe that's where the disconnect is. I mean, they're talking positive in the article about it, but I don't know. I don't feel it. I don't feel like this is Raylan's turf. Like, it doesn't matter that it's in Detroit, because we've heard about Detroit before in the old series.
Yeah.
I just don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like him. At times, occasionally, like I said, there's a couple scenes maybe where you're getting close, but it's just really disconnected. And I think that's just the problem, was the material they went for. I think it would have just been better to do something original.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, we could have kept on that a couple of different tangents from the end of the original series, right?
Yeah, you could have just jumped off from there. Or Elmore Leonard wrote that last book about Raylan. Maybe there was something in there that was worth making a whole show around, even if it's just a premise from there,
Right.
Like maybe if he, at the end of that book, he went off somewhere, maybe that's where you go, wherever he went from the end of that book or something. Maybe, I don't know. He may have killed him off in that book for all I know. Probably did.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Just like do one more season and kill him off, right?
Yeah, I mean,
give him an epic showdown.
I think Raylan does need to die in a showdown, not unlike John Wick.
Yeah.
But now we're finding out I think John Wick's going to live, right? We already hearing the John Wick 5, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've heard it. I've heard it already. And I think I'm scared, this is kind of what I've heard, that maybe they're bringing in a different person, but yet Wick will be in there at some point. So we'll be like watching a different Wick, and it's not John Wick, but I don't know. But yeah, I've heard rumblings.
Kind of like with the hotel, they're just going to switch to a different protagonist, but it'll still be like a John Wick story.
Yeah. Well, we already knew. Well, there is something coming out. I remember has that come and gone?
Hotel Artemis?
Yeah, has that come and gone?
It's out. It's on.
Did I watch it? I may have watched it. I can't remember.
What was that on? I want to say it was on HBO.
Damn, it's getting hot in here. I'm getting a hot flash off up in here.
I will say this. One of my other favorite shows has just started releasing episodes as well. And it's an animated series.
Oh. What is it?
It's Harlequin.
Harlequin?
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Or Harley Quinn, if you
Harley Quinn. Okay, yeah.
Yes. The one with Kelly Cuoco and Ron Funches and just like Alan Tudyk, a bunch of weird people. It's a great show.
I love Alan
hilarious.
But
yeah, if you've never seen it, you should watch it.
I may consider it. You bringing up Harley Quinn just made me think of Margot Robbie. And earlier today, I saw another reference to the Barbieheimer deal or whatever, Oppenbarbie or whatever they're calling it. I don't know what it is, but it shows a promo picture of her. And again, I think she looks so much like Jamie Priestley to me.
I can see it.
It's weird. It's like Jamie Priestley had some kind of work done and revamped her career under a different name. These is like all the parts that she would have got if she was the age she was back when she was. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, Hotel Artemis is on Max, by the way.
Okay. So, I mean, I may have watched it. I smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Who knows? One day we'll find out.
I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. Go and watch it and find out for yourself. And I'm a diehard Justified fan, no doubt. That's
well, you're a big Timothy fan too, aren't you?
Oh, I love Timothy Olyphant, man. He's done some great stuff. I'm still pissed at Predator, Alien vs. Predator 2. I think he gets killed off in that. I'm mad about that. That was before he was really somebody.
Yeah,
they could kill him off easily. But yeah, I mean. No. I hope you get to watch it sooner rather than later, so maybe we can get your POV.
We'll see.
Your
I'll see if I can't get a hold of it. I did want to kind of circle back. I don't think we have anything concerning games, right?
Well, no, but I have a little update about my gaming later on if you want. But yeah, what you got?
Yeah, let's just package that all together.
Sure.
I got something, but we'll package it together.
Okay, sure. I was tooling around earlier today, and I found this. I was looking at a Doctor Who news site, and they apparently BBC have posted a little teaser video up of the new sonic screwdriver for David Tennant's 14th Doctor, not 12th, 14th. No, he's 11th. No, he's the 10th. What am I saying? Jesus. Originally the 10th, now the 14th.
Yes. Okay.
Too many to keep up with, man. It's getting confusing.
Right.
Now.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, yeah, there's only supposed to be this many dots. Wait, why are you going?
Yeah, he's 14, I guess, and Cuddy's the 15th Doctor.
Yeah.
But they got the new sonic screwdriver, showed a video of it, and it has very nice little throwbacks to his old Sonic, but yet very uniquely new. So I liked it. I thought it looked very nice. So if you get a chance, go to, I guess you probably go to the BBC webpage, bbc.co.uk, and check that out. It may be bbc.com now. Oh, God. What is happening with your video? My Lord.
Really?
Oh, dude, it just went crazy haywire. Almost like you're on satellite, like in space.
Yeah.
And the
like
satellites,
there's a delay.
Yeah, moving out between transponders. Oh my God, there you go. You're coming back now. Wow, is it storming over there?
Actually, we did have some weather roll through, so that may
be
playing a part as well.
Weird, yeah. But yeah, okay, yeah. So it may be BBC.com. I don't remember. I know it was bbc.co.uk back in the day.
Right.
But yeah, just check it out. It's on one of the videos. You just type Doctor Who News in Google, and you can go to Doctor Who Newsnet or whatever, and it's on their page. That's where I found it. Yeah. And they deserve the hit because they've been doing Doctor Who News for, God, I don't know. That's been the place I've gone to since the early aughts. And they've probably been around since the late 90s, I would imagine. So,
I don't know.
Good for them. But that's where you should go for your Doctor Who news for sure. This is weird. Yeah. Oh, well, I did have gaming. I don't know. I forgot about it. So Epic.
Oh yeah.
The free game they're giving 2 away this week again.
Right.
One of them was Homeworld Remastered, the whole remastered collection. And
big game.
I thought, okay, cool. Yeah, I grabbed it. I am not big into RTS. I'm not big into turn-based, but I might check it out, just especially since it's a remastered version. I want to see what it's like. And then, I guess it was yesterday, I think I was doing my German, and it popped up an ad. and it was for Homeworld, the mobile game.
Huh.
I was like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then like later on that day, I was like, I think I was on somehow Steam popped up, and there was this thing. Somehow I got on about Homeworld 3 due out in 2024. And
Wow.
I'm like, what? This is just fucking weird. Homeworld is like, whoever owns the IP for Homeworld is just going nuts all of a sudden.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I've never played any of those games. Is there like a big Homeworld following that I don't know about?
I mean, it was. I can't remember exactly why Homeworld was a big deal, but it was a big deal. Um, it may have been the time that it came out.
When did the first one
Uh,
come out? I remember the
it
name.
it was. Wow, I don't even know. It's old though.
Was it late 90s or mid
Um,
90s?
I want to say mid, maybe a little
I
bit
mean,
after,
I
but
guess it's always been RTS too. So, I mean, it could
yeah.
be early 90s as well. But I think, yeah, look it up. I think that
Yep.
pretty much Westworld had the RTS locked up, except for Blizzard with Warcraft.
Yeah.
So you had Westworld doing the Command and Conquer stuff. You had Blizzard doing Warcraft, and
Nope. 99.
Okay, see, I was thinking 99 for some reason because I kept
I
having
was thinking
X-Wing
earlier.
Alliance popping into my head that same time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I've never played it, so I don't know what's in the collection. I don't know if it's all the old games and they've remastered every one of them. That'd be pretty cool. But it's a collection, so I
Right.
have to think, yeah, it may go back to the original. They may have redone them all.
I think this was the first RTS that Sierra did. I think that's why it was a
Oh,
big
is this
deal.
Sierra? See, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I have never. It's interesting. There are some Sierra games that I've played over the years that were okay, but I always thought Sierra had the shittiest installer. Just
But yeah.
and the shittiest support, man. They did not have like great update support. Their installers were the worst. Just the worst, and always had like extra shit. Like if ever the idea for like bloatware came up, Sierra had thought of it first, I would think, or just having extra shit that's not a part of what you wanted to install.
Yeah.
Like here's all these extra icons on your screen to go here and to go here and to go here. Yeah, it was early malware.
Yeah.
Or not malware. What would we call that stuff back in the day? Adware,
Right. Yeah.
or whatever you call it.
Adware.
I just named the old program Adaware. Is that thing still around? Anybody use that anymore? We even used it back.
Adaware?
Yeah, we used
Yeah,
it
I think
still
it's
back
still
in
around.
2011 and 2013.
Yeah.
It probably
think
is.
it's
You
around.
don't. It's obviously not worth a shit because nobody recommends it.
Right. So the Sierra, obviously, their big deal. Graphics. That's why it was a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I may install this week and take a look at it because I'm continuing my gaming saga. However, it has taken a pause and fallen on one game pretty much. In fact, the only reason I opened up Cyberpunk this week was to do a couple use its benchmark because I was testing some video settings.
Mhm.
But I've been all up in that flight simulator, man. All up in it.
Yeah.
I've been loving the hell out of it. And that plane that I was telling you about, the one that had the crazy taxiing deal where it would just send me one way. And so I figured that out. I fixed it. It was, I think it was so it has some AI settings you can set that can help you fly the plane for people who want a little easier experience. And I had an auto rudder thing that was on. And when I turned that off, that seemed to take care of me having any issues in that regard. And now
Yeah.
I've gone from being so pissed off at that plane to loving the fuck out of this plane. Like I am flying this thing so much because, bro, I went from just doing basic using Flight Simulator to do a flight plan to now I use this outside source called SimBrief. It's a third-party program pulling in nav charts and stuff. And
Yeah.
it links right into this thing, and I go into the computer in the plane, dude. I know how to actually change the computer in a plane, like for real, like flight plan for real. So I've been all enthralled in that. I was sitting for 2 hours the other day. I was so pissed off. I was like, this is too much for my brain.
Right.
And I finally walked away. I was like, enough. I can't take it anymore. And the next day, dude, I sat down and I just started doing it. I'm like,
yeah,
this is easy. And it really was. And I'm starting to really get the hang of it, man. I'll be flying. I'll be a professional pilot soon before you know it. Ain't no way that's happening.
Isn't there a plugin for like real-time air traffic control?
Oh yeah. You can do this thing called VATSIM, right?
Plugins.
Where people sit on the other end and act as controllers for you.
Right.
And yeah, I'm not there yet, dude. Because these guys take this shit serious, and if you go on there acting like an asshole, like no, and I'm not saying like they don't mind beginners, and they'll help out beginners, and they're understanding of that, but they don't. They're very clear when you sign up for VATSIM on their website, like here's a beginning tutorial. You need to learn. They basically want you to almost get a license per se. You need to learn and read all this stuff before you even try and get on the VATSIM network. And so, dude, I am interested, yeah. But I'm no fool, dude. Like, I know I'll fall asleep or some shit like that.
Right.
It's happened so many times. I'll be on a flight, man. Had that autopilot just taking me where I need to go. And next thing I know, dude, I have blown by the runway and I'm circling the fucking airfield. Dude, I'm just in a constant circle till I run out of fuel.
Circling the drain.
Yeah. And see, here's the thing. So I haven't figured out a way to call a missed approach and get vectors out and vectored back in and shit. So once I fall asleep and miss fucking runway, dude, I'm like, okay, escape. Time to start another flight. But yeah, I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. And that's an Airbus A320 Neo. I really like that. Fly by wire actually makes that one. And they do a hell of a job because there's an Airbus A320 in the game that's not as what they call study level. It's kind of a term some people hate actually, because there's some of these planes are like they go through the trouble of doing everything up to where it's as real as they can make it, and you could actually theoretically learn, on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm finding that I really enjoy those kind of planes, but they're few and far between. Like the one in the game is not nearly as intricate as the fly-by-wire one, and that's why people use it and have it because they want to get that sense of realism. Because there's tons of real pilots out there making videos of themselves playing the game on YouTube and shit. I watch all kinds of stuff like that. I love watching, and I'll watch real pilots. Like they get guys, they'll let guys in the cockpit they'll set up like a ton of different GoPros all over the cockpit, and you just watch real pilots do their thing, and you can watch the whole fucking flight. And it's pretty, some people would say, what the fuck? That sounds boring as fuck. Well, I don't watch the whole goddamn flight, but like the takeoffs, the landings, I might watch a little bit, to see if they're doing anything, especially like transatlantic flights. Like usually they just.
Everybody scrubs, right?
Yeah. It's just transatlantic. They might as well just kick back and relax. There ain't much going to happen there. You got the autopilot just doing its thing. Of course, that's all it is nowadays anyway. That's why I love this too, because you get to truly do like. Really, dude, they don't fucking fly these planes really much often. More often than not, they're downloading their flight plan from whoever, like if it's Delta provides these flight plans ahead of time. They download it right to their MCDU, and it's going to take them exactly where they need to go. They even, theoretically, they could take off and land without touching it, but they do that. That's where they start. That's where the pilots make their money pretty much. The rest of it's all supervision and making sure control the autopilot and shit's just set up right and it doesn't kick off for some crazy reason.
And coordination with the towers.
Yeah. They talk to the tower and say what's up and shit like that. But dude, flying a plane nowadays, jumbo jets anyway, it's easy. And even some smaller stuff like just having the GPS integration they've had for years in these smaller planes, their little autopilots do fairly well themselves. Just taking you on a heading or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I'm really finding myself submerged. I spent a little money on it too. Getting this this program called GSX Pro, man, where it takes, like, in the game, it already has some basic ground crew stuff you can do, and it's cool that it has it, at least, but it's very basic. So this GSX Pro, and it's been around for years, going back to some of the older flight simulators, pre-released stuff. And it just adds way more stuff. Like, you can actually see your passengers, and you can board and deboard, and you can have crew board, and more vehicles there doing things. The fuel truck shows up, gets its fuel out of the ground like it's supposed to at the little port there, and just all kinds of extra shit. It just makes it more realistic.
Yeah.
It went from being just let's play a flight sim and enjoy some flying around to I'm gonna fucking fly this plane like these motherfucking real pilots do as best I can. And that's been fun. That's a lot of fun. Just learning all this shit. It's a lot, dude. It's a lot to learn.
Cool. I wanted to mention a couple of things about games. You did bring up the free game on Epic. I believe the other one was called Severed Steel.
Yes.
It's not really for me, but it is like a highly responsive movement-based shooter thing.
Oh yeah, it's not.
That
I was gonna say it's not for me either.
Yeah, but there is a core group that loves that type of play, and if you guys are into that, definitely check out Severed Steel.
Yeah, it is. What he says is no lie. If you Unreal Tournament guys, you Doom 3, whatever Doom you're playing nowadays, or Quake Tournament, or not Quake.
Well, that's what I was saying about this. It's not just an FPS. It's like I said, it's movement based. You've got all kinds of weird different things you can do: double jumps, hop off the wall, ceilings.
I thought it was a Portal ripoff. That's what it looked like to me. It was like if you took the first person shooter, if you took an Unreal Tournament or Quake Arena or something like that. That's what it's called, Quake Arena. And then put Portal into it. That's what you got. That's what that game is.
To me, it was instead of Portal, Mirror's Edge.
Okay, yeah. Now, see, I've never played that. If that's what they're doing in that, then yeah, they ripped it off from there. Oh, homage.
But apparently the controls are a lot tighter in Severed Steel. But it's totally worth to check out if you're into it. Also, I have Prime, and this week on Prime, I picked up Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
Oh yeah, good game. Back in the day, right? Yeah, back in the day, it was quite a popular game. Of course, that's when we were all starved for Star Wars games too.
Right. And it was before Sam Witwer had gotten really popular over here, right?
Yeah.
Or Weir? What is that his name? Witwer?
I think you said it right.
Okay.
I think so.
But yeah, he was a relative unknown over here, but was doing stuff across the pond.
Yes. The pond,
as they say.
The pond for a bond.
So that was a great game. I think you mentioned Elder Scrolls Online last week, right?
They gave that out last week, man. But I think for many people, that would probably have been a pretty good pull.
I've got it. I haven't touched it. I will say that I think there is currently something. Yeah, I think Prime has a mount for ESO right now.
Oh, yeah?
So you can double up, get the game for free, and get a mount.
Interesting. I don't have Prime anymore, man. I gave it up after the computer. Did the 30 days to do some computer shenanigans, and I let it go.
It's not really worth it, in my opinion, for the shipping, but all the other stuff.
Well, let me just tell you about that for one thing, because I discovered something interesting. When a friend of mine needed a computer, I helped him pick it out and stuff. And I was looking it up on my non-Prime account, and I had a price. Then I took it over, got on her computer under her Prime account, and that price was more expensive by a few, by like whatever shipping would cost. So all you people out there paying for Prime, just know that you're probably paying for your shipping anyway.
That's crazy.
A lot of people without Prime are getting it cheaper. At least in that computer situation, definitely was that, Because I literally logged out of mine, logged into hers. Like, it wasn't a next day thing, where the price could have changed or something like that.
Right.
It was very obvious because I was like, oh, the price is different. And why is that? And I was like trying to look and see if something was bundled, extra
Yeah.
bundle, how they throw in do you want 2-year service on this shit? No. No. that was my click.
No, thank you.
That's me clicking the little box. Yeah. What else? What else gaming?
That was really it. Just those few games. I had mentioned Prey before. Those are the only ones I know of that came out. There may be another one that I was trying to download and couldn't get, but I can't come up with it right now.
Well, besides my flight simulatoring, I need to get something to distract me. Something new. I don't know what that is. I might go back to Cyberpunk and play a little bit. Because again, I hadn't really done anything in it this week.
Speaking of this week,
yes, a Kitten update. It's time for a Kitten update. And I was thinking earlier, what am I going to say for a Kitten update? What is there to say? Have they done anything special this week? Like last week, I said they're eating food now and they're drinking water, which was awesome. That's great. What milestone have they made through this week? Well, they were having a pretty bad problem with fleas, and they were starting to scratch pretty bad and getting their backs tore up pretty good from all the scratching, and their little heads too, and they were starting to go bald a little bit, getting that, not bald, but starting to get real thin up top. And I finally, what do you do? I'll tell you what I do. I'm just saying, like, what do you do when you don't know what you do? You sit there and you say, well, what the hell do I do with these little kittens when I've got some stuff? It's even organic-y stuff. But it still says on there, do not use unless they're like 12 weeks old or older. I'm like, what is it? I have to know, like, what is it about it being, like, why can't it be week 11? Like, I got to know, where's the cutoff? I got to understand why that is the cutoff, because I get
I think it's a mass thing, right? Isn't like that when they go?
It might be.
Mass.
It might very well be. But I could also just use the tiniest little bit too, if that's the issue. I don't know. Maybe they're saying that you can't get below nothing, something like that. Maybe that's the issue. But so I had to ask myself that, and somebody had told me, early on when I first got them, that you just go get some Dawn and soak them down in some Dawn and let those fleas, like, let it sit there on them for a couple minutes so the fleas drown or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've given them a couple baths, and they have not gone over well. Like, they didn't like it, and I was holding them in my hand, and they were scratching the living shit out of me, and it was under the faucet, and the faucet was freaking them out. It was just not a good experience at all.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, I got to do something about these fucking fleas on these poor things. They're just, they're just all tore up on their back. So I just said, fuck it, I'm going to take them in the bathtub. They can't escape the bathtub no matter how hard they try. Their little claws just don't stick on the bathtub.
Right.
But the weirdest thing, dude, I just started that thing up. I had the shower head, and we got one that you can pull down and move around, so I can basically like wash a dog. So I just took them and I said, before they even knew what the fuck was going on, dude, because they're just down in there like, where am I? And I'm like,
yeah,
you're wet. You're covered in water. Here you go. And before they can even think about it, they're like, fuck, I'm wet now. They ain't got time to bitch. So it turns out, like, I was all worried that they were going to just scream the whole time, claw the hell out of me, possibly bite me, and let me tell you, a kitten, even the kitten these size can bite the living fuck out of you. It hurts pretty good. But anyway, yeah, I did the little boy for the little. He's big compared to her. I did the boy first, and he was just like, hell yeah, daddy. I mean, a little fuss at first, but he just kind of just chilled out, let me do my thing. And the little girl pretty much ended up doing the same way, but yeah, she's got a lot more white on her, so I could see way more fleas. And I was way more pissed off about her fleas than I was his, because I couldn't tell that I got a lot off of him. But seeing what I saw on her, I was like, shit, I didn't get shit off of him. I mean, I did get a lot, but I was like, fuck, she is just covered up with him. So she was getting worse treatment than he was, because I had to get it in her head. Like, they were just all going to her head. And crawling over her eyes and shit and her nose. I'm like, man, I can't have it. So you gotta be careful because you don't want to drown her. She's like, I'm doing it real fast so she doesn't like get any water in her nose and shit. And she starts opening her mouth so she can breathe. You know, I feel bad for her, but I've got to do what I got to do. We got to get this done, but I'm also not trying to kill her at the same time either. Dude, she's just so. By the end of it, she's just like looking up at me with dead eyes. You know, just I got nothing.
Why did you do this to me?
She was actually cool. Like, she trusts me implicitly. She gets little really bad kitten boogers. Like, kittens get really black boogers. And she's got a little pink nose, so they just shine like fucking neon sign off her nose. And she, you know how cats are with you touching their nose. We've got such a trust. Like, I am mommy daddy, so she lets me get my fingernail right up in there and dig. Because at first, when I first started doing it, she's like, no, quit, stop, get away from me. But after a while, she was like, when I finally got it, she could breathe so much better. She's like, oh, okay. I think I'm picking up what you putting down.
Right.
So yeah, she's been real cool about letting me get her boogers out. And then after her bath yesterday, I've noticed she hadn't had any boogers. So I'm hoping.
Cool.
I think she might have had an infection, because I told you her weight's always been questionable. And when her eyes, the day the boy's eyes opened, I thought, well, surely her eyes are going to open soon. And later that night, they were, you could see they were kind of open a little bit. So and they were a little crusty. So I took a rag and started, oh, no, wait. They were a little crusty, and I touched one of them to see if they were going to open at all. And a big pus bubble came out of it, out of the corner of her eye. And I was like, oh, shit. So she should have had her eyes open probably maybe the day before him. So I got a washcloth and just started rubbing her eyes like crazy and getting all the crust off and whatever, and boom, all of a sudden there's my baby with her little eyes open as soon as I was done, right then and there. And no pus or anything after that. It just had built up right behind the lids being closed. Right. But I still was, I'm still thinking maybe she's had an infection the whole time, but she's really starting to put on weight now, and she's got a ways to go to catch up to her big brother. He is going to be a huge cat, bro. I can tell already he's going to be a huge male. He's going to be one of those big old lumbering males. But I got to find somebody. I got to find somebody to take him, man. I'm telling you, I can see it happening. If nothing else, the girl, I can see her staying, man.
You know what I told you last week?
I got to get him out of here, man. Got to get him.
Do it while they're kittens.
You got to do it while they're kittens, and plus she has such a connection to me, man. It's making it hard. They both do, but she loves her daddy mommy, and he does too. But and they're still climbing me like trees, and he weighs so much. God, he kills me. My legs are shot, man. All the scratches all over him. It's enough already. But I predicted the second week of August would be when they finally would go. They're starting to eat like nothing but hard food. I've tried to really put little water in it as possible, so they're really not fussy about it being hard. We'll see. They're pretty much ready to go at this point. They're pooping and peeing on their, in their litter box for weeks now, a couple weeks now. So I think they got it. Let's hope so. I just got to find somebody. I wish I could use this medium to find somebody, but that's just not happening.
All right.
Imagine trying to ship a kitten to somebody. I mean, you could do it, but I wouldn't want to put a little kitten through that, and probably cost a fortune. Nope, it's got to be local. Got to be local. Anywho, I don't have nothing else, man. You got something you want to talk about?
I think that's everything I got at the moment.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Listen, if you're looking out for, we recorded our reaction episode 7 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Be on the lookout for episode 8, because they screwed up and did 2 episodes in 1 week and didn't tell nobody, and I didn't get the memo till it was way too late. And so Brian and I still have to watch episode 8, and we will get it out there just as soon as we can.
But we got 7 coming.
Yeah, 7 will be out tonight. And if we ADHD this thing and don't get it out, we'll do 2. We'll do 8 and 9 next week back to back. may do them in the same episode. Probably not. Well,
Yeah.
we may record them in the same time, but I am going to chop it up for sure.
Right.
Likely. But anyway, as always, you guys, please click on the subscribe button. Please click on the like button. I'm stupid for doing this at the end because nobody's watching this right now. If you made it this far, I love you. Thank you for watching this much.
Right.
That'd pretty much be my wife. She's the only one that watches to the very end. But yes, if you are watching to the end, God bless you. We really appreciate it that you care about listening to what we have to say. And yeah. Let's see. We have 24 followers. I don't know if I told you we went back up or we went up to 24 from the 23. We went down to 22, so we're like up to 24 or something like that.
Yeah, you had said we had gone down and then come back up.
Yeah, so that's nice. At least we got 2 more back. So,
yeah.
Anywho, yes, as always, be excellent to each other. And guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace out.